Thank you. My dear Rotary family, I would like to greet you all and say welcome to tonight's meeting of Rotary Fellowship of Synergy Community Services Volunteer. As being the executive board member to Synergy and also country representative, I would like to say that this is an honor for me to moderate this April meeting of our Synergy on behalf of our dear founder, Urs, and on behalf of my District 2430 Turkey. Urs Herzog sends his best regards to all of you. He unfortunately couldn't able to attend tonight because he is in Uganda for another Rotary project right now. Tonight is a special night and a very meaningful meeting for us, especially the Turkish people. As you all know, the latest earthquake in Turkey was one of the deadliest of this century. Our country suffered, and it's still suffering from one of the worst disasters ever hit our territory in the last 100 years. Tonight, we voice solidarity. Tonight, we voice unity. Tonight, we voice lending hands. We, the Rotarians, are here to heal the emotional scars of our earthquake victims. We, the Rotarians, know that we have to be the first responders. We have to be there for our community and serve above ourselves. With this awareness, the April meeting of Synergy is organized with this topic: how Rotary responds to the devastating earthquake in Turkey, with esteemed keynote speakers and many Rotarian fellows from all over the world. I would like to leave the microphone to Synergy Europe co-founder Linda for her opening remarks before proceeding with our first keynote speaker for tonight. Linda, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Ayşe. Thank you. Honorable TAF Trustee Gita Manik and Honorable past Rotary International President Safak Altay, distinguished District 2430 District Governor Emre Öztürk and District Governor of 2420 Suat Baysan. My dear friend Ayşe, dear Rotary family all over the world, good evening, good afternoon. It is my privilege and great pleasure in honor and behalf of the Synergy Europe Community Services volunteers to welcome you here today. My name is Linda Gebser, a district governor nominee designate of District 1841 and the co-founder of Synergy Europe. We are delighted to have you with us to participate and share in this special event, how Rotary responds to the devastating earthquake in Turkey. Thank you for your coming. That many of you have willingly signed to be here serves us as a reminder to us all just how important our work is. I would like to take the opportunity to thank District 2430 and 2420 with their governors, especially my friend Ayşe, a member of the Synergy Europe Executive Board, for hosting this event. When disaster strikes, Rotary is always there, helping from the initial planning stages to the final assessment, making contacts on the ground, organizing the logistics of aid, and reaching remote communities that might otherwise go empty-handed. Rotary is made up of people of action, especially in difficult times. The Rotary around the world assist in many ways, from fundraising, raising awareness, organizing the logistic aids. Let's listen together to the status of the Rotarian relief efforts in Turkey and Syria, and where we can still help. Thank you very much. Ayşe, back to you.
Thank you very much, Linda, for your opening remarks. Now, Before inviting our first keynote speaker, PRID Shafak Alpay, I would like to present his biography to all the attendees. Rotarian Shafak Alpay was born in Ankara on 2 November 1946. He completed his education in Ankara and graduated from Middle East Technical University, Faculty of Physics. He married to pharmacist Deniz Alpay. They have 2 daughters, graphic artist and MS in genetics. He worked, managed, and owned several companies on the electronic instrumentation import, export, and produce. He is the shareholder and chairman of the executive committee of an ICT media company, an executive board member and shareholder of Interpro Holding, serving to ICT sector in Turkey in many different ways. Shafak Alpay is the founder of Kızılay Rotary Club in Ankara, president of the club in 1984-85, and the youngest governor of Turkey, District 2430 in 1990-91. Starting from 1993, he served in very different committees of Rotary International, such as Rotary International Planning Committee member, Rotary International Delegate at World Habitat II Conference, Presidential Conference, Cairo Organization Committee, Anaheim International Institute Assistant Moderator, Rotary International Southeast Asia Regional Polio Plus Committee member, Rotary Foundation, Rotary in Islamic countries, Delegate at the Council on Legislation 2002 and 3, International Institute Anaheim Organization Committee member, Presider and Assistant Chef, Surgeon at ARM, Residential Celebration Conference Literacy in Istanbul, also Organization Committee member, Polio Plus National Advocacy Advisor, Rotary International Extension of Rotary Middle East and Mediterranean Countries Committee Chairman, Rotary International Zone Institute Organization Committee member and Chief Surgeon at Arms are some of them. He served as International Assembly Group Discussion Leader for 2 years in 1996 and 97 in Anaheim. Rotary International Training Leader and Training Team Leader in Addis Ababa, Lyon, Salzburg, Lugano, Maastricht, Lille, Istanbul, Lisbon, Athens, Istanbul, Sofia, Cairo, Izmir, Accra, Marrakesh, Mombasa, and Saloniki Zone Institutes and Governor-elect Training Seminar. Besides these, he served as moderator and speaker in many of the above-mentioned institutes. Starting in 1991, Mexico City until Houston, he attended several RI conventions and served as panelist or speaker in many of them. He served as Regional Rotary Foundation Coordinator for part of Zone 10, 14, and 16 in 2003-2004. He also served as Rotary Regional Membership Coordinator in Zone 10B. He represented Rotary International President in more than 10 district conferences all over the world. He served as Director of Rotary International in 2014-16. He was the chair of the Executive Committee Board in 2015 and 16. He also served as the Rotary Foundation Fund Development Committee in between 2019 to 23. At the present, he's serving in Rotary International Operation Review Committee. He was also a RISE Special Representative for Iraq, National Polio Plus Advocacy Advisor, Chair of the Presidential Peace Conference in 2025 March. He received Service Above Self Award, Distinguished Service Award, Citation for Meritorious Service, Regional Service Award for Polio Free World, and Key Man Award from Rotary International Board and the Rotary Foundation. Also, he's a Paul Harris Fellow and the benefactor. Deniz and Shafak are both major donors. PRID, our esteemed past district governor, Rotarian Shafak Alpay. The floor is yours.
Thank you very much. Protocol observed, fellow Rotarians, ladies and gentlemen. Good afternoon, good evening. Before I start my presentation about the size of the earthquake, I would like to thank to our dear friend, Urs, for inviting me to this important meeting to remind you about what happened in Turkey. I stand before you today with a heavy heart and we mourn the loss of lives and damage caused by the recent earthquake disasters in Turkey. The earthquake has claimed many lives, caused widespread destruction, and left entire communities reeling from the devastation. I am here today to talk to you about the tragedy that has shaken the world, the devastating earthquake that struck Turkey and Syria on February 6, 2023. This was one of the deadliest earthquakes in decades in the history, with a magnitude of 7.8 and depth of only 10 kilometers. It was followed by a second quake of 7.5 magnitude and followed by hundreds of aftershocks, some of them almost as strong as the main shock that have shaken our land and our hearts. The earthquake occurred in the early morning at 04:17 a.m. when most people were asleep and unaware of impending danger. As of today, the death toll has surpassed 55,000 people and over 110,000 or more are injured. Several children lost their mother or father or both or their life. There are many missing or trapped under the rubble. Millions have lost their homes, their livelihoods, and their loved ones. The earthquake affected 10 cities and around 13 million people in the area. The earthquake caused widespread damage to buildings, roads, bridges, and historical monuments. It also disrupted essential services such as water, electricity, and communication. Many people were trapped under the rubble, while others were left homeless. The survivors had faced harsh conditions with freezing temperature, rain, and snow. They were in urgent need of shelter, food, water, medical care, and also psychological support. Many started to live in tents, cars, or makeshift camps. Some of them used fires of debris to keep warm. Thanks to God that international community has responded with solidarity and generosity, sending rescue teams, relief supplies, and financial assistance. The Turkish government has declared a state of emergency in 10 provinces and mobilized thousands of personnel and vehicles. The United Nations and other agencies have launched appeals and coordinated efforts to reach the most vulnerable. Many NGOs, local and international, acted and started their support. We are very much thankful to all of them. Certainly, you are all wondering what Rotary in Turkey and the Rotary world did during this difficult time to help us. Therefore, the heroes, the leaders of Rotary in Turkey, District Governor of District 2430, Emre Öztürk, and the District Governor 2420, Suat Baysan, will give you further details about this subject during this meeting. Because of some personal reasons, District Governor of District 2440 will not be able to join our meeting today. But I want to tell you that at 6:00 a.m. on 6 February, they were on the phone for coordination. Immediately after, Rotary in Turkey acted and present at the area. And much earlier than many other NGOs. Our 3 districts in Turkey decided to act as one district to empower the help efforts of the clubs with a very efficient collaboration. Dear friends, before I complete my presentation on behalf of the Rotary family in Turkey and Turkish people, I would like to thank very much the trustee and the chair of the executive committee of the Rotary Foundation for her visit to the earthquake area immediately after the earthquake. Dear Gita took immediate action to organize District Rotary Foundation Disaster Relief Fund. To Rotary International Director Faiz Kidwai from Pakistan, who came together with Trustee Gita. They had chance to see the first tent camps organized by the Rotarians in Rotarans. To Rotary Foundation Trustee Chair Ian Risley, who carried our petition immediately to the Rotary Foundation Board. Board decided to give a chance to our district to apply to disaster relief grants with 2 projects at a time, $50,000 each. To many districts, Rotary clubs, and Rotarians from all over the world who contacted us, gave us a chance to use their DDFs for our global grant projects. Sent financial contributions to the Rotary Foundation and also directly to our accounts in Turkey. To our Rotary International President, Jennifer Jones, and to Nick, they came to Turkey just to visit Adıyaman city, which is one of the most affected cities from the earthquake, opened our mobile click tent camp. And I'm sure more information will be given to you by the district governors about this subject. Beside all these, Rotary International President Jennifer, who made a call for action through her Facebook and Instagram accounts by referring our web address for donations and also to see the details of earthquakes. But the needs are immense and the challenges are daunting. The scale of disaster is overwhelming. The recovery will take months, if not years. The trauma will last a life. That is why, as Rotarian, we cannot turn away from this tragedy. We cannot forget the victims and survivors. We cannot ignore their pain. We must stand with them in their hour of need. We must support them in their quest for dignity and hope. We must help them rebuild their lives and their communities. As Rotarians, we must show them that they are not alone, that we care, that we are one human family. Thank you for listening to me.
Thank you very much, PRID, Rotarian Shafak Alpay. Thank you for your speech and thank you for being with us tonight, for accepting our founder, Urs Herzog's invitation and our invitation as Synergy and District 2430 as the host district. Now, we would like to continue with our second keynote speaker, Gita Manek. But before leaving the microphone to dear Gita, I would like to present her bio to the attendees. Gita Manek, a second-generation Kenyan, graduated from business school in the United Kingdom before returning to Nairobi to join the family retail and real estate business, which she still runs. Manek joined Rotary in 1997. Her roles have included Rotary Coordinator, Rotary International President's Personal Representative to numerous countries, Rotary International Assembly Training Leader, Lead Facilitator at the Regional Leaders Training Institute, Chair of the Health Major Gifts Initiative, Chair of Joint Committee on Partnerships, Chair of the Host Organizing Committee for the Zone 21 Institute, Chair of the Rotary Foundation Executive Committee, Chair of the Rotary Foundation Programs Committee, Member of the Major Gifts Initiative Oversight Team, Member of the Rotary Foundation Stewardship Committee, Member of the Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Task Force, Member of Programs of Scale Committee. She has also served as a District 9212 Council on Legislation representative. Gita was also the Rotary District Governor for District 920 from 2012 to 13, and has served as her district's coordinator of the Keep Polio Out of Africa campaign. Gita Manek is passionate about initiatives that help women and improve education. She was a charter member of Lohana Ladies Circle, a women's club dedicated to community service, social welfare, and cultural heritage. She is championing the Rotary Literacy Initiative in Kenya and is the liaison between the Ministry of Education in Kenya, Rotary International, and the Global Partnership for Education. Gita has volunteered as a first responder during national crisis. She has led teams of Rotarians to collaborate and coordinate initiatives with organizations such as the Red Cross, the United Nations, and community-based institutions. Along with partnering with the Ministry of Health and corporate organizations, she has assisted her country to mitigate the effects of the pandemic. In recognition of her humanitarian work, Manek was awarded an honorary Doctorate of Humanities degree in 2019 and the Presidential Commendation Morn of the Burning Spear by His Excellency President of Kenya, President Uhuru Kenyatta, in 2021. Currently, Gita serves as a trustee of the Rotary Foundation. She is also a trustee of the Vijana Poa Initiative based in Uganda. Apart from Rotary, she sits on several committees. To highlight just one, she's a board member for the Task Force for Global Health based in Atlanta, Georgia. For her service in Rotary, Gita has been honored with the prestigious Service Above Self Award by Rotary International. She and her husband, Kaushik, who served as the Rotary District Governor of District, are Rotary Foundation major donors, benefactors, as well as Bequest Society and Arch Clump Society members. Gita Manek, our esteemed friends and trustee, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Isay, for that very long and elaborate introduction. It's really not necessary. I feel very touched, but I'm amongst friends, and I think I know most of you. Thank you so much. I feel very privileged to have been invited to join hands with all of you today at Synergy, and thanks to my friend Urs for inviting me. But it's a delight to see all of you this evening. Friends, early morning in February, I switched on my television just to catch up with the world so that I could say I knew what was going on. That morning was really shattering for me because all I saw was images of the earthquake. It had just happened. It was all news. And I was very far away from where it happened. Of course, I am in East Africa. And I knew I had to do something, but I didn't know what. And so I started making a few phone calls, but I knew all of you were busy. So I said, I better make phone calls to USA. And I talked to one or two people and they said, well, let's wait, let's see what's happening before we jump into it. I got a call that afternoon from PDG Kanan from district, Emirates district. And I said, I need to talk to the governor. And she was desperate, want to do something. We all wanted to do something. We did not know what. As the news kept coming out, we kind of felt the devastation miles away in terms of the television coverage on the news and social media. And as much as we tried to do our daily work, when you're far away from such devastation, you want to be normal. On a normal day, I wanted to go to work, could not focus because I was thinking, what will be happening? Where are these people? What must have happened? I actually felt an earthquake in 1992, I believe, in California. And I know how shaken I was. And it was a huge earthquake, but it wasn't so damaging as what we have experienced in Turkey. Since my heart was there, I talked to a couple of Rotary leaders, and with Director Kidwai, Faiz Kidwai from Pakistan, we agreed that we'll try and time our trip to Turkey and see what we could do. We received the warmest welcome under these circumstances from Director Shafak, from PDG Hassan at Istanbul Airport. They escorted me to Antakya and Adana, and friends, I cannot even begin to describe the destruction and devastation. The one thing I felt was the warmth of the Rotarians, how everybody wanted to roll up their sleeves and wanted to do something. It's not just a sense of patriotism where you have to do what you have to do, your civil duty. But Rotarians rolled up their sleeves, they put their boots on the ground, and they all wanted to do something. I was escorted and accompanied by Director Shafak and PDG Hassan and District Governor Suat to Adana. And then we drove about 200 kilometers to a place, Antakya. I hope I've got all the names right. And what I saw, I cannot believe, I cannot describe the scale of the destruction and devastation that I witnessed in Antakya and the nearby towns. Thousands of people, as we know, lost their lives. We've all heard what Director Shafak said, and I'm not going to repeat it. But the few buildings that I saw that were standing were also completely unsafe. Most people were sleeping, that night in the comfort of their homes when the earthquake shook the ground beneath them, and they all were out in the cold, unforgiving weather. And when we drove to these cities, we were on a very high point, and we looked down at the city. It was going on for miles and miles and miles, alleyways, beautiful scenery from top, but everything down below was destroyed for as far as one's eye can see. Friends, I have never experienced anything like that. And I did not prepare anything to say to you this evening, but I had written something down for a Rotary blog. And I said, I'll share that with you. The greatest inspiration I got amongst so much, destruction was the Rotary spirit. The spirit of how the 3 district governors, how the Rotarians, Isaiah yourself, you flew in from another city. There was just everybody supporting and holding each other's hands. That was for me the greatest spirit. I have never seen so much togetherness that I witnessed in the few days that I was in Turkey. The Rotaractors, some of whom also had, suffered personal losses, but they had rolled up their sleeves, and they were amongst the first people with District Governor Emre and the team out in those affected areas. You guys were working in harmony and providing food. You brought toys for me to dish out to the children. You brought food for me, lollipops, ice cream, ice lollies that the Rotarians brought, to hand out to these people. We went into one tent of that affected lady. She was all by herself in a tent. I was accompanied by the senior Rotarians there and Director Shafak and Director Mahmoud Kidwai and of course District Governor Emre, all of you were there. And that lady was so touched by our warmth that we'd made an effort to go and see her. She was just one example of the many that we met. The blessings that she gave us are priceless. But you know, that lady did not have a single item to her name. In a pile of clothes, she had hidden a packet of biscuits, cookies. And she wanted us to have that. She wanted to share the only one thing that she had on her, in her name. And she opened the packet of biscuits and I said to her, no, we are not hungry. We don't want anything. We are fine. You keep this, you will need it. She opened it and offered it to all of us. That is the spirit of humanity coming from the most affected person. We went around and we met people who were all affected, devastated, mothers. We met one little girl in the library that Rotarians had built overnight in a container and brought. And in that library were lots of lovely books. The girl was sitting all by herself. And when we got into the container, the door shut very quickly. That girl had heard something that had affected her psychologically. She ran straight out of the library. And that was the trauma. So as much as we Rotarians do, there's so much trauma there that we'll all have to work so hard for so long to make sure that this young girl comes out of her trauma. And I'm giving you an example of one young person. We then went to the city, the tented city. We met, oh, by the way, before we go to the tented city, there were lots of Rotarians. The mayor of the city, who is also a Rotarian, they were all playing with the children outside as if nothing had happened. The children were supported by the community, the Rotary community. We then went to the tented city. We met lots of Rotarians and Rotaractors hard at work trying to comfort everybody there. ISA had brought more goodies and we were giving them out. And somebody pointed out to me that one young, beautiful, blonde, blue-eyed, young, pretty girl, about 3 or 4 years old. And she just ran towards me and I wanted to carry her. I carried her. And as she's in my hand, I'm told that she's lost her parents in the earthquake. A 4-year-old girl who has nobody else in the world to look to except some family who had, found where she was. Her family then was Rotary members. This is the power of Rotary. I felt so connected with Turkish Rotarians. I felt so connected with the people who were affected. But the spirit of Rotary, I can never describe. What you guys have done, you have set the bar. You have shown the Rotary world and world over beyond Rotary what human beings need to do in this very difficult, challenging world where everything is on fire in one way or another. There is no peace in one country. There is issues everywhere. But Rotary in Turkey is a finest example. I can say you had play groups, you had libraries, you had food, you had tents before any international support came to you. Friends, I salute you. I salute your leadership. I salute Turkey and all the people. I know the government is helping. I know everybody's helping. Everybody's stretched. But Rotarians have not given up. You're in there for the long haul. This is the correct, true DNA and ID of a Rotarian. And you've shown the 1.4 million and many more out there who look at our organization, what Rotary means, what humanity means. And I salute you once again. Friends, there is so much I want to tell you about the few hours I spent in those affected districts and the regions. But I must really, really talk business. I know I'm not supposed to talk emotion, but you can't get me away from that. When I heard about all that was happening, before I left for Turkey, I had a meeting with the executive and we said we have to do something. And we were told, of course, we have a disaster fund. You know, every district will get $25,000. I thought, well, $25,000 is fine if 3 districts are getting it. But then we read the small print. It said only the affected district. So we talked to all the trustees and we said, after I came to Turkey, I said, this is not enough. This is huge. The damage is cataclysmic. We just cannot comprehend. And I cannot describe to you, Turkey needs more money. Turkey, you have to make an exception. Of course, Rotary Foundation kicked into gear, and immediately all districts were allowed to get more than what is in the policy. Exceptions were made. All 3 districts plus the neighboring districts were given grants within few days of their application. A special fund was created where all the contributions going to the disaster fund was earmarked up to 31st of March for Turkey only. As much as the donations came from all over the world, they will continue to come. I know they come directly to you, but we have to keep Turkey on the front burner, not on the back burner. Every day the news, new news comes on. We have Sudan, then we have floods here, we have issues, we have political issues that come up in the forefront of the news. But what has happened and what Turkish Rotarians have experienced through this destruction, through the earthquake, we cannot afford to keep Turkey on the back burner in the media. We have to continue because this is a long haul. We have to make sure that all the people who are affected are getting the fullest support, because that's what humanity is all about. That's what humanity is all about. Friends, I can never thank you enough for giving me the opportunity to reach down in myself, to examine myself as to why am I a Rotarian. You guys showed it to me. This is what Rotary is. So when we're talking about, the topic for today's conversation, my impressions and thoughts about Turkey, my impressions and thoughts about Turkey, Turkish Rotarians during this very devastating crisis is that I salute each and every one of you. And you have not given up. You have not tired. The fact that you're continuing to pursue and persevere till the last person is reached, the last affected person has been supported. You are a true example of what Rotary and humanity is all about. Thank you, friends. Thank you for giving me this opportunity to examine myself and do what little I can for everybody. Thank you.
Dear Gita, I cannot describe my feelings right now after your speech. To be honest, we walked together through the devastated streets of Antakya, and time doesn't heal anything, I know, but the smile on those children's faces and the hope in their eyes just taught us how to live with the pain. And we have to continue doing our best to survive and imagine for the future, for their future. So we will continue our efforts. We won't get tired. Please be sure about it. I wanted to say this. Thank you very much once more for being a part of this meaningful meeting tonight and being a part of all these efforts. And thanks for accepting our invitation tonight once more and being our very dear, very sincere friends, Rotarian fellow. Thank you. Dear friends, my dear Rotary family, now I would like to invite our the third keynote speaker of tonight, our DG, District Governor of District 2430 Turkey, Emre Öztürk. But before leaving the microphone to him, I would like to present you his bio. Emre Öztürk was born in 1979. He graduated from the Mechanical Engineering Department of Middle East Technical University in 2001. He holds his master's and PhD degrees in the field of simulation technologies. As an entrepreneur, he founded technology companies and continues to work at the boards of directors of these companies with the vision to spread the research and development culture across Turkey. Dr. Emre Öztürk transfers his academic and industrial experience to the next generations in the fourth-year technical elective courses he gives at several universities. Rotarian Emre Öztürk has been a member of Ankara Bahçelievler Rotary Club since 2008 and served as the president during 2015-16 Rotary year. He was either a member or the chair of many district committees, including District Foundation Committee, Youth Exchange Committee, Interact Committee, New Generations Services Exchange Committee, GSE Committee, Vocational Training Committee, Strategic Planning Committee. Emre Öztürk was a member of the Board of Trustees of the Rotary's Turkish Service Education Foundation, a board member of the District 2430 Federation, District Secretary at 2017-18, 2019-20, and 2020-21. He is the district governor for the year 2022-23 to serve as the youngest governor of his district. Emre Öztürk is a major donor and the benefactor, awarded with the Service Award for a polio-free world. Emre Öztürk is happily married and has one son. And Emre Öztürk is also my district governor, and I'm proud of him and being his club president during his Rotary year. Dear Emre, the floor is yours.
Thank you, dear Ayşemine. Thank you very much for this lovely introduction. So, dear honorable senior leaders of Rotary, dear governors, dear fellow Rotarians, it is my great pleasure and honor to share how Rotary has responded and will be responding to the earthquake with my presentation that I will share now. So, as just a small map of our district. So our district is, maybe you may already know, is very large in terms of geographical area. So we have central and eastern part of Turkey and the other Central Asian Turkey countries, and the disaster has happened over here on the southeastern part of Turkey. So if we take a closer look, so this is the southern part is Syria, the Syria border, and the red ones are the epicenters of the earthquake. So we had two, very large earthquakes on 6th of February in the same 12 hours, and two of them were very devastating. And as Shafak already told, we have thousands of losses, and millions of people have changed their lives and they had to move to other cities. So we, as the three governors of Turkey, we always acted as one district, and we planned our strategies together from the first day, and we had a three-stage plan. The first stage was providing the instant and emergency need in the area. So we had sent more than 200 trucks full of goods that was requested from the region. We were asked to send food, water, fuel, toys, blankets, heaters, generators, body bags, and all those stuff. We have sent these to the distribution centers we had in the region. We had 4 bases, and it's a very large area, by the way. So we had to put many bases and distribution centers to be able to reach to everyone in the area. And the area is as large as Austria, is as large as Portugal. So it's very difficult to reach everyone. But with these 4 centers, we did our best. And we also had food distribution centers. We provided food 3 meals a day, and we provided clothing, for all the other stuff that people needed. We also set up in the first stage the 10 cities. Just let me So we set up this tent city on the 4th day of the earthquake. Thank God, our neighboring district 2440 had the tents already in their stocks. They had 100 tents, and we got them to the area. We installed these tents, but tents are not just enough to have a tent city. We had to put toilets, shower, laundry, kitchen, everything, and electricity as well. So our team, Rotarians and Rotaractors have done this, and we have managed this, administrated this tent city for 35 days. And with Gita, we also had the visit here. The second one was in Adiyaman, and here the tents were provided by 2420 and 2430. So this is still an operational one. This is at least 4.5 hour drive from where we went with Gita, so it's another part of the affected area, and this is still operational. We have visited with Jennifer Jones. And the third one was in Kırıkhan. So we went there with Gita, and the story about entering the tent of a lady and sharing her biscuits, it was here in Kırıkhan, and still we are administrating this tent city in Kırıkhan. So we had 3 tent cities, but people in the rural areas needed tents, individual tents, because those who want to take care of their animals, who need to take care of their crops and farms, they don't want to move to the city centers and live in tent cities or container cities. So they were asking for tents, and with the help of Shelter Box, we distributed 2,000 tents in the area, in the whole area. Shelter Box was here in Turkey on the first week, but they didn't have any tents at stock, and they got manufactured them in Turkey. And on the 5th week, we started distributing these tents, and the tents also included stoves, mattresses, blankets, solar lights, etc. And all of them were taken one by one to the people in the rural area. We also established sheltering centers in the neighboring cities, because people have moved from their cities. They did not have any houses, no homes. So in the neighboring cities, there are still millions of people living elsewhere. And in Mersin, we had 2 shelter centers, and we provided food, at least hot water, and some facilities for the children. We also had this in the first few months of the earthquake. And the children, they are the ones who are affected most. And these are images and videos from the World Rotaract Day. Our Rotaractors have celebrated World Rotaract Day in the tent cities. Let's. So this was the first stage of our plan, and the second stage was to provide more permanent or semi-permanent solutions for accommodation. And we started container cities. So we have 2 container cities. One is in Samandağ, the other is in Antakya. In total, we are having about 250 containers in these container cities. And each container is, as you see on the right bottom corner, is a living container. So it has a shower, a toilet, and a small kitchen. And we furnish them with beds, mattresses, stoves, a refrigerator, an AC unit, and everything they need, when they enter to these containers. And I'm happily announcing that we are opening our first container city in Samandağ tomorrow. So it's all finished, all the infrastructure, the electricity, water, sewage, they're all finished. We put all the containers and we put all the furnishment inside, and tomorrow we're opening this container city. Just to give you an idea, one container city of 120 containers costs about $1 million, including the infrastructure, excavation, all the furnishment, everything. So this is the design of our first container city that we're opening tomorrow, and it's exactly like this. So it's built as this, and we have a school here as well. So this is, you see the flag here. This is the school, and we have houses for the teachers as well. The others are for the families, and we have some social containers. And as I said, we are opening this tomorrow at 2 p.m. and I can share you the aerial pictures if you want. We'll have, recordings from the drones tomorrow. And the second container city, which is ongoing, is in Antakya city center. So this is a hilly place. So we had more excavations to flatten the land. And we are now sending the containers to this area. And this will also be finished in the second half of May. So, and the third stage of our disaster plan is more, permanent and sustainable projects. We are planning these with the, global grants with, the Rotary Foundation. We have now 24 projects for health, water, economic development, education, I'm going to show you. And the total GG funding is 1.4 million. Thanks to the Rotary community, they have supported with the DDFs and club contributions. And we can, we have the funds for all of these projects except two. We are now trying to find the fund for the last two ones. We're also using the disaster response fund, which is helping a lot for the containers, for providing seeds to the farmers, agricultural machines and educational equipments. And the total there of funding was about $2 million. And as already told, we're using it as 50K projects at each time. Also, we had donations from many districts and clubs, especially on the Far East, Japan, Taiwan, Korea. These and considerable amounts of donations, and with those donations we can think big. And they were just they had the they just didn't ask anything and how to spend the money. They just had the will to send it, and they just wanted us to do something. And we are now had an agreement with an independent auditing company. They operate in 140 countries, called Grant Thornton, and we are auditing our accounts so that we will send reports that all the donations are being spent for the right purpose and will be spent for the disaster relief aid. So this is one of the projects that we will be doing with the aid of these districts. This is a school project, and the place is ready here on the left, and the design is ready, and we start the manufacturing very soon. And we can have at least 2 of these schools, because the most of the schools for this area as well, there was a school here and it was collapsed, and we need to rebuild it very quickly because the children since the 6th of February are not attending the schools. And also this is a list of the global grants we have now. Some of them were submitted before the earthquake, but most of them are the earthquake projects, providing ambulances, providing ventilators, providing incubators, giving cows to the families in rural areas, and having building water filtration systems, and all of these, as I said, only the last 2 have the sufficient funding, thanks to the Rotary family. And the project, which I'll show you in a 2-minute video, 2 projects, 2 mobile units, which are very interesting projects. Let me show you the video.
February 2023, the earthquake in Turkey to make history. Thousands of lives have been lost. Thousands of people got seriously injured. Thousands of people are missing. But there are also thousands left homeless. Thousands who haven't eaten in days. Thousands in shelters. Thousands displaced. And children. Thousands stuck in the middle of an insane disaster. Experienced an unbelievable lifetime earthquake fear. Maybe survived, but witnessed the death at their childhood years. Turkey has losses, but also survivors. Lives do matter, and we, the Rotarians, care them. This is exactly why we think it's time to lend a hand to the quake-affected people with a twin global grant project under the theme, We Will Survive. 2 mobile units to serve in the disaster regions. One is a mobile kitchen and bakery. Second is a mobile child care center. Urgent and effective relief efforts might turn this tragedy into recovery. Immediately after disasters like Turkey have suffered recently, food is an urgent need to be provided. Mobile Kitchen and Bakery is a fully equipped lorry that will be ready to cook and serve in the disaster regions. Completely self-sufficient mobile kitchen lorry with fully equipped kitchen and bakery setup shall be in the disaster region and especially serve for quake survivors living in tents, shelters, or containers. We believe disaster response requires rapid mobilization. This is why these two units will work together. Our second unit is a mobile child care center, a fully equipped lorry that will be ready to offer a safe place to learn and play, which in turn will help children deal with the disaster crisis. February 2023, the earthquake. February 2023, the earthquake in Turkey. To make.
I think there's a problem with the video, but you've seen the most of it. So these two mobile units have the full funding now. One is a global grant. District 2 is 7680, and 10 other districts have funded this project, including our district, which is a 182K project. Thanks to Ayşe Mine, she worked a lot to fund all these, find all these, districts and clubs. And the other one is the mobile kitchen, is also fully funded by another NGO called Lens Aid from Germany, and they have already sent the money so that we will be buying these, 2 units very, very shortly when the mobile child care center is also approved by the Rotary Foundation. So this image shows an infographic of what we have done. So you see the disaster area, and in each city we try to do something. We put tent cities, we open food stands, we are building container cities, we have distribution centers, we distributed shelter box tents, we installed toilets and showers, and we're doing global grants in all over the region. So this shows almost, most of the things that we have done. And the presence of the senior leaders, Trustee Gita's speech is always, very touching, but her presence was also very important for us and gave us strength and increased our motivation to do more. And Mohammed Faiz as well. Here we are in Kırıkhan in the tent city in the first few weeks, together with Director Shafak, Governor Suat, and all the other our fellow Rotarians and Governor Serdar as well. And also Jennifer Jones, she visited us, in Adıyaman. We took her to the mobile clinic that I'm sure Suat is going to mention in a minute, which is a tremendous project. And your presence are so important for us. And thank you for being with us today and sharing our relief. And as the video says, we will survive with the help of the Rotary community and the Global Rotary Network. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, DG Emre. You are really an inspiring leader to all of us in our district, in our country, and in our Rotary International world. You did a lot, we did a lot together, but your efforts were more than tremendous. I mean, you're such a true Rotarian and a leader. Thank you for being with us tonight as our very special keynote speaker. Dear Rotary family, we also have a guest speaker tonight. I would like to invite him. Dear District Governor from District 2420, Suat Baysan. He is with us. But before leaving the microphone to him, I would like to present his bio. Suat Baysan. He was born in Adana. He studied in Adana High School and later received his degree in electronic engineering from the University of Manchester. He attended management certificate programs at Zurich. Suat Baysan started his career as an R&D engineer at Netash. He serves as regional VP for 20 years. Eastern Europe, Russian Federation, Independent Soviet Stans, Near and Middle East, North Africa. His responsibilities are telecoms, defense networks, and corporate infrastructures. Baysan appointed as general manager, Cisco Systems, implementing major private and public data networks. He took roles as executive board member in local groups and holdings. He is the founding partner, Ackmena Technology Management and Investment Corporation. His expertise is in corporate governance. He consulted Samsung Electronics for 5 years, Deutsche Telekom Consulting Diteken for 2 years, and Pearson International for 2 years. He is a board member at NGOs, namely at Turkey Technology Development Foundation, Turkish Informatics Foundation, Science Centers Foundation, and founding member at Istanbul Technical University Chip Design Foundation. He is also chairman, Turkish Electronics Industries Association. He is a writer at industry magazines, and he manages his own blog, sharing leadership thoughts. He's a regular speaker at events, leadership, governance models, transformation, astrophysics, quantum mechanics. DG Suat joined Rotary in 1990. He was the president in his club at 2011, 2012. He was the assistant governor in 2014 and 15. He was a district secretary in 2018 to 19. He is a Paul Harris Fellow, and he served as committee chairs for several assemblies and conferences. Baysan likes to read books, watching films, and playing chess. Dear DG Suat, the floor is yours.
Thank you, dear Ayşe. Thank you so much. Just let me share my screen. Can you authorize me, please, for sharing the screen?
You're authorized.
Okay, just a second then. Just the presentation up. Can you see it now? Okay. Just a second. I think internet speed might be a little bit slow, or there might be a little traffic there. Is it fine now?
It is.
Okay. Okay, thank you so much, dear President Ayşe, dear Dita Manek, our directors, distinguished guests, and dear fellow Rotarians. Just let me give you a highlight of what we have been doing. But before I start, I would also like to thank Governor Emre to really holding the leadership in this project. And we are really at the sites, always together with him. And I think one unforgettable moment for me is going to be that these 3 district governors, Gülce, Asuman, and Belgin, our wives, will be friends forever in our lives. We have shared a lot of thoughts together. We have stayed in the camps together, in the hotels together. So I will never ever forget this earthquake in my life because of the friendships that we received from our Rotarian friends. So let me just give you the highlights, what we have been doing. But just let me give a brief description of our district, and starting with maybe a quick history of the Turkish Rotarians in the country. Turkish Rotarians started in 1954 with Ankara Club, and then very quickly in 1955 with the Istanbul Club. And as the years progressed, the clubs have increased. As of now, we have 251 clubs in our 3 districts. And if you look at our 24-20, we cover the Marmara region. We start from the Bulgarian and the Greek border all the way to the Marmara Sea's eastern end, with 84 clubs, 2,260 members. We have about 742 Rotaract to 35 clubs, and a very powerful Interact community with almost all the schools in the region have Interact clubs. So as Governor Emre has mentioned, we have met at 6 o'clock in the morning through Zoom and decided to hold our strategy together. We in the District 24-20 have selected to go with the health services, and Sardar Durusoy and the District 24-40 more on the education side, and basically all the infrastructure and the project management are held by District 24-30 and District Emre and his team and the clubs in the region. So the first ways were in-kind help, humanitarian help and support, which really started very quickly. And I think within 2 days, all the Rotarians, all the trucks, all the materials have been on site. So we provided on-site support. And phase 2, it was more of tent camps. And then maybe a short-term solution have been the containerized homes. But when you talk about the containerized homes, I don't think they will be, they will not be terminated operations, maybe 3-4 years, they will stay at the sites. So therefore, we have to have a proper operation, and people will be living there for a very long time to come. And then finally, we have the sustainable projects that we have planned that will stay there for as long as the need is continues. So what we did was initially in the Marmara region, we had 2 collection sites. One of them was in the European side of Istanbul, which we call the Beylikdüzü area. You can see the picture over there. The Rotarians were bringing in their in-kind support like clothes, boots, shoes, blankets into this huge collection area, and the trucks have been loaded, and then they were being shipped to the region. And the second one was in Izmit, which is a little bit closer to the region, where more of the manufacturing has been done, like the tents and other heavy-duty materials have been done. So we had 2 clubs managing this process. One was, as I said, Beylikdüzü, and the other one, the Izmit Club. And we have a recording mechanism, which we named the project as RODEP, and RODEP stands for Rotary Earthquake Support Project. And every item that's being shipped has been recorded and being allocated to the club who's been doing this project. And so far we have 41 clubs supporting and reaching out to the region. And for example, there are some numbers there: 12,000 blankets, hygiene products, dry food. Water was a big shortage initially because there was no running water available. So we were sending in bottles of water. Medical supplies, as you can see, chairs, books, heaters, tents, and tiny homes. The totaling amount of material, products, and tents we have been sending to the region amounted now in our RODEP report about $1.2 million. And every week we have this report released, so each club is checking what they have done, and weekly report has been followed by our weekly virtual calls with the clubs and making sure that we are in line and in sync with all the clubs. So this was our initial phase that we have been sending the humanitarian material. And then the second phase, again, we were together with Emre governors and District 24-30 team. So we've been traveling to several cities like Maraş. We've been supplying school children with books, and writing materials, and having them listen to teachers from Istanbul. In Antakya, again, food and cleaning products. And Adıyaman, the picture in the center, we were there distributing Ramadan packages for their iftar break at the end of the day. And again, Iskenderun books, toys, Antakya water was our on-site support. And I really appreciate all the help and the coordination done by our clubs in the region. And on the left-hand side, you can see our Istanbul club going directly to the sites, village by village, traveling and trying to find out what the needs are and how the help can be reached to those remote locations. So tent camps, as Governor Emre was mentioning, this one is in Adıyaman. You can see there in the picture, and İzmit Club, our club there, you can see Rotarians really building the tent camps one by themselves. Yes, we had support from the Turkish army. You can see there the soldiers are helping us, but the Rotarians were rolling up their sleeves and doing the installation themselves over there. Some Rotarians that went there, I was with them, with my wife and Governor Emre, we were there. Unfortunately, there are no hotels to stay, so many of the Rotarians are sleeping in their cars, and we had our sandwiches at the back of the cars, drinking water, and we stayed several times in the cars, sleeping in the cars. But it was worth it. It was worth it to see those people really smiling and trying to help them. Was an amazing feeling. When we were in Adıyaman, you can see in the top picture, there were one gentleman who his house was completely flattened, but he was still making tea. And every time we go there, he was coming up with his teacup and he's saying that, look, you're working so hard. I made the tea outside of my house. Here is some for you. Please drink it. We know that how hard you are working. So that was really heartbreaking. So this was Adıyaman. Then we have the tents here. You can see down in the second and the third picture in Defne, 10 tents. Antakya, we have the tents. And directly to the victims, we have been sending 2,000 tents. And as Governor Emre mentioned, Shelter Box providing around 2,526 tents in the region. So the third phase was the containerized tiny homes. The tiny homes are about 21 square meters, 2 rooms, kitchen, toilet, and shower. What we did was we used the international funding that we received from across the world so that we can provide them a TV, a refrigerator, 4 beds, cooking utensils, even forks, knives. We have been providing a small carpet, a heater because the weather is so cold, a desk for the child or children to play, tables, chairs, lamps, water, electricity, and sewage has been provided by the municipalities there. So these are very, very effective, very much a living home environment that we try to provide. Even we provided curtains to their windows so that it will look exactly like a house. So what we did was, you can see the containers being downloaded by the trucks. This is in Antakya. Maybe you can just see the. Oops, sorry. Let's go back one slide. Just a second. Just a second. I think I lost the sync. Yes, there we are. These containerized homes. So there are 40 homes in Antakya being installed. Actually, we were going to be present there today, but unfortunately, due to the weather conditions, I think there is very showers and lightning and thunder today in Adana. So some of the flights have been canceled, so we were not able to go there in Antakya. So 40 clubs supported that project. In Adıyaman, we have 20 homes, but that number is now increased to 36. And I think together with this 24-30, we have about 57 containers in a huge area where they are building and installing about 1,000 containers. So 10 international clubs supported us, and these are being containers as well as internal equipment in there. And again, in 15 clubs supporting us with the Adıyaman Container City. Tomorrow, we're going to be in Hatay Samandağ, where District 24-20 Istanbul Club has been providing 30 homes in that region. So sustainable projects was our fourth phase. And this first one was again in Adıyaman. This was an ultrasound device from the disaster fund. This hospital is the central hospital, the state hospital, which is called the Education and Research Hospital. All the other hospitals in Adıyaman, unfortunately, has been flattened and destroyed. So this is the only remaining hospital in Antakya. It has some cracks on it, but it's safe to enter. So we are immediately provide an ultrasound device because there's a lot of births happening for those who are still alive and living. So we said we're going to supply this ultrasound device, which was really appreciated in the region. And the second big project is the one that you can see the picture down in the left-hand side. This was our multi-clinic project, which is a global grant. It was supported by 47 clubs in the field, by District 24, the 24-20, 56 clubs in our region supported the project with funds into the region. And we have around 25 districts and clubs internationally supporting our district grant project. This is around $300,000 project. It's been finished, installed. It will serve at the region of this huge container camp with about 1,000 containers, 1,000 homes, and it will be able to have a capacity for handling around 100 patients daily. There is a small area where the patients can stay for a few days, and there is a lab that can take up some like a blood test or other tests are available there. Ultrasound device, X-ray machines, and other devices now are fully functional in this mobile clinic. I'm really proud for our whole Rotary family from all over the world, and it's supported by every single club in Turkey. So it's really greatly appreciated. And our president, Jennifer Jones, handled the keys to the mayor, and the mayor of Adıyaman then passed on the keys to the Ministry of Health, and they will operate and manage this hospital. And our next wave project is to provide an ambulance to this hospital, and the containers are being taken care of a different model, because there is no homes for the doctors to stay in Adıyaman, and they are staying in a small town, which is also damaged, but partly damaged. So they are traveling every day around 60 kilometers. So we suggested that we can make some of the containers livable for the doctors and the nurses in that region. So it's a very, very successful project. We are very happy and very proud of our Rotary family. Two projects that are being done in Istanbul, because many children and many patients are being sent to the big cities like Ankara, Istanbul, Adana from the region. So we have two projects, global grants approved, and one of them is already delivered for the mother's health and children's health. And another one is a device that we provided that will help the children if they have respiratory problems. So this is the famous clock that I wrote about in my blog as well, where the time has stopped at 4:17. And I said maybe this clock, thousands of years old, resisted the earthquake. The time has stopped. And I said maybe the clock stopped the time not to witness what the catastrophe is going to be the next minute. And I said maybe this clock may stay non-functional as a reminder of the region's destiny and what has happened to those people who lost their lives. And President Jennifer also took the picture just in front of this clock, and I think she has shared it in our blog as well. So sustainable projects continuing, like the mobile kitchen we have. We are also installing IT classrooms for the children, so they will be able to continue working. We have a great team of our emergency disaster response team, and they are really working very hard to make sure that the children continue working. And this is Women's Imagine Needlework classroom that the ladies in our district are going to take care of, so that the women who are left without a job or without a work, they will be able to do some knitting or some sewing, and then we will help them to sell and make some business for them as well. So other projects are ongoing in Adıyaman. The child care center and kindergarten is being now almost completed. A laundry service, and in Hatay, Antakya, the picture down below is we're providing cotton seeds to the farmers because it's just a season now. The Hatay region is not only a historic region, but also very productive agricultural region, and they grow a lot of cotton, and they lost all their fields, so we provided 100 farmers with those cotton seeds that they will be harvested later in the summer. So again, our agriculture club and our ecology club is saying that we can also have a park inside the containerized city in Adıyaman with the Rotary's name and brand on it. So great thanks to our hundreds of clubs who are helping us. This is just that's just the names of the clubs who are contributing directly to our district. This is really a great international support, and thank you, dear Gita Menek, as well, contributing to our projects. These are in-kind donations from our clubs here in the district. You can see every single club contributing either cash or in-kind or support, and they have been in the field helping and soothing the pain as much as possible. And again, you can see here our partners, Rotary Foundation, Rotary International. These companies are helping us to build the hospital or the mobile clinic, and even our Rotaracts are all listed here. The Rotaracts have been great. They have been carrying diapers, they have been carrying food, they were in the field, they were with the victims, teaching, singing, helping the children to recover as much as possible. So my great appreciation heart goes for our Rotaract clubs. And here is a list of our international clubs supporting our global grant, and it was one of the biggest global grants in our district. And these are our local clubs. About 57 clubs supported the global grant directly. They have allocated funds directly to the district, and with that, maybe we have contributed 100% of that allocation to our clubs.
Dear Governor Suat, we are
Yes?
a little bit.
Okay, sorry, just finished.
Okay. Oh, okay.
This is my last picture. You can see our President Jennifer, nurses, doctors completing and finishing this project. Thank you so much for listening.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, DG Suat, for this presentation and for being with us tonight in this meaningful meeting.
Thank you.
Dear fellows, before ending tonight's meeting, we have an announcement to make on behalf of Rotary Fellowship of Synergy Community Services volunteers. This is the announcement of our next meeting in May, which will be hosted by District 1880. My dear friend Sabina is here. Before leaving the microphone to Sabina, we have a video presentation for this meeting. I would like to get the assistance of Cengiz to share the video with you. Here we are.
Covering a distance of 1,400 kilometers, it nestles in the landscape, sheltering an extensive yet all too vulnerable territory. It is a treasury of biological diversity that connects thousands of valuable habitats, like a string of pearls from the Baltic Sea to Saxony. It's a Noah's Ark in a time of worldwide human-caused extinction of species. Like no other place, it is a powerful reminder of the inhuman separation within Germany and of its peaceful reunification. The Green Belt. Shortly after reunification, nature conservationists from East and West, under the leadership of the BUND, made a visionary and at the same time bold demand. The border strip conquered by nature was to be protected completely as an ecological backbone of Germany and Europe. Since then, the BUND, Friends of the Earth Germany, has been improving strategies and alliances continuously to protect the Green Belt and has been purchasing land to save it from the plough. With great success, almost 2/3 of the Green Belt Germany is already protected. A refuge for an impressive diversity of animal and plant species, of which 1,200 are threatened. Nevertheless, there are parts of the Greenbelt known as gaps, which are currently intensively managed by farmers as grassland or arable land. The BUND will not rest before these parts of the Greenbelt are managed in an ecologically sensitive way. We would like to invite you to sponsor us in this endeavor. Together, we can preserve the Greenbelt as a memorial landscape for future generations. By donating or becoming a sponsor, you will become part of Germany's biggest nature conservation project.
Thank you for sharing the video, dear Cengiz. Sabina, you're here. Yes, I see you. I would like to leave the mic to you to announce and invite our dear attendees to the next meeting of Synergy.
Dear Ayşe and dear fellow Rotarians, thank you very much. And at first, I want to congratulate you this wonderful meeting, this emotional meeting, and to hear all this wonderful work you have done and you will do in the future. I'm really, really impressed, and I just can repeat Gita's words in the sentences. I'm really impressed, and my greetings come from the bottom of my heart for all your hard working and believing in the Rotary family, and you gave us great examples of our Rotary family. So thank you to you all. And it's very difficult to announce now the next theme, and it's so totally different to this meeting of tonight. But I want to speak and I want to show you something about the 7th area of focus of the foundation, the environment. And I don't want to just show you the German Green Belt, it's especially the European Green Belt. And I have a guest speaker from the office, and he is responsible for the European Green Belt as well, and he will tell us some details about environment, especially biodiversity. And our key speaker as well is the Rotary International past president, Mark Maloney. He is very, very involved in the environmental things. So he wants to share his experiences. So it will be an honor again to have him at our meeting. So I will invite you to share this great meeting with this area of focus on environment. And please give the invitation to all interested Rotarian Fellows. There will be a great afternoon on 20th of May, and see you there all, I hope. Thank you very much, Aisha, to let me speak here. Thank you.
Thank you, DG Sabina, for this invitation. We will all be there for sure. My dear Rotary family, Turkey has losses, but also survivors, as we mentioned, and lives do matter. We, the Rotarians, carry them. As I mentioned in my opening remarks, our country is in great pain and we all suffer, but we all need to survive, and we believe we will survive together. International contributions and supports are all welcome and highly appreciated. Tonight, among our attendees in this meeting, we have districts of North Carolina, America, fellows from all around Europe who not only joined us tonight, but also in our global grants that hopefully will turn this tragedy into recovery. We really appreciate the support of Rotary Foundation, Rotary International. As my DG Emre mentioned, this is so meaningful for all of us. We have several global grant projects waiting to be approved, either in draft or submitted. And that is really very important for us to take the support of Rotary Foundation, especially in the approval of these GGs. The mobile units, yes, on behalf of my Rotary Club of Samsun, and my twin Rotary Club, our twin Rotary Club of Toros. This project is so meaningful. Yes, we were there on the streets of Antakya. We met those children. It's so difficult to describe my feelings about that. We want to be the first responders. We will continue to be the first responders. Tomorrow, we will be again on the field. We will be in Hatay all together in Samandağ, in the grand opening of our container city. We are so proud. We are so emotional. I see lots of faces here, and I believe I will see them tomorrow again in Hatay. The opening will be live in my also Facebook account for my fellows who are following me in Facebook as well. There will be a live share in the Facebook account, and also in district accounts. We will be sharing this emotional opening, this touching opening tomorrow from the site from Hatay. I just wanted to mention this in terms of the closing remarks. And now I would like to leave the mic to my dear friend Linda, the co-founder of Synergy Europe. Tonight, we are together with her. We are representatives to Synergy. And so the closing remarks of Linda are now with us.
Excuse me.
Also, please, on behalf of us as well, dear Linda.
Excuse me.
Overall, you're right.
Thank you, Aisha. Thank you. First of all, I want to congratulate you all for your very, very driving motivation serving your community. May I ask you to give us the recording of this video, because I want this as a virus to show in the Rotary world in Germany. Maybe we can infect them. You have infected me already. Thank you very much for your work. And I hope that the Rotary International, my dear Gita, have enough certificate for service above self for your work done in your country. Congratulations, and please keep it up. We are stunned by the natural resources in Turkey and Syria. But all of us, the Rotary members, can demonstrate solidarity with these communities as they strive to recuperate. Together, let's be a part of their relief effort. Please consider how we can contribute as they still need help. The needs is very immense, so we have to help. Excuse me. We should have to organize in our clubs or within the Rotary members to make a donation to the Rotary Foundation for Turkey and Syria Disaster Response Fund. Thank you very much again for hosting this. Thank you very much, Gita, for your inspirational and emotional messages. Thank you, Fritz Sapak Alpay. Thank you, Emery, and thank you, Suat, especially to Aisha. Thank you very much, and I hope to see you again by next Synergy meeting. Thank you.
Thank you very much, dear Linda. Before saying goodbye to all of you, I would like to take a quote from the founder of Rotary International, Paul Harris. He said once, "Rotary changes us and those we serve. I believe we can change the world one life at a time." Hopefully, we will change the lives of our survivors all together. Thank you, our dear Rotary family, for your attendance to this meaningful meeting. Good afternoon to America, good evening to Europe, and to all dear fellows from all over the world. Thank you.